wedding and traditional wedding, as we earlier discussed, and we'll be looking at the part 2 of it. We'll go deeply and discuss other things. And I know so many comments, so many, as arise, cause, and the rest of it within our last, video. And we are also trying our best to see how we can correct ourselves. It's not really easy, but we need to tell you the truth. We need to tell you the truth. The economic we have now is something else, so we need to tell you the truth. Now, let us look at some tribes in Africa. Their traditions goes this way. In some place, they will try you. They will try you if you are strong by giving you work. That is how their culture is. And in some place, they will flog you. Yes, we have some place in Africa, some tribe in Africa where if you want to marry their daughter, they will flog you. They will lie you on the bench and they will flog you. If you can endure the pain, so that means you can endure pains in the marriage. That's how their culture is. And in some places, they will ask you to swim. They always have a river where you can swim. So when you get to the end of the river, they will know that you are capable to marry their daughter. In some places, they will ask you to pay, whether high or low. They will ask you to pay because they have other things what they want to use the money for. They have other materials which they need to buy to fulfill the marriage rights, and they will ask you to pay. They will give you list. The day will be going for introduction. They will give you list. Then after that, you might come back with the list. Then you study it. You can decide to send them money. You can decide to buy those things by yourself. So that's how their own culture is, or their own traditions. Now, that's their own ways of life, and you need to adhere with their own terms and conditions, because you need something from them. You need to have that wife. That is their own. So you need to fulfill all that. Now, once you've done all this, you have fulfilled your marriage rights. Yes, you have fulfilled your marriage right. Doesn't matter whether you spend money or you not spend money, but whereas you have done what they asked you to do in any way, in any condition they gave you, because you see the lady, and the lady, love comes between both you guys, and you go for it. So you never mind the type of condition they will give you. So that's how it is. So once you've done all that, the wife is yours. But all this does not fit your lifestyle. Then, if all this, what do I put it? If all this culture, or the traditions, or their lifestyle does not fit your own lifestyle, maybe because of the places you were being brought up, then you have something to do. You can decide to have a party. Maybe you reside in a city where your friends, they cannot come where your wife come from. You can decide to fix a party in the city. That is a marriage party. Then any name you can call it, but let me just be once, so that everybody can be carried along. After that, before you also do that, make sure that you might have fulfilled all the marriage rights. You might have done everything. Then the white wedding is for the white people. The white wedding is for the white people. That is Americans. Why the traditional wedding is for black people. Then the question you need to ask yourself, are you black or are you white? A white man cannot do a traditional wedding. Yes, a white man cannot do a traditional wedding in his place and also do, traditional wedding. Maybe if he married from any of the African country, then he perform, because he must perform their, their rights. That's what qualify you that you've gotten a wife. Not that you people met on the road, you met at the city, then you discussed and you people started living together without seeing, their parents is bad. The white man cannot conduct two ceremony for marriage. Let's look at their own lifestyle. Unique one, they met, they engage. Before you know it, they do their white wedding. That is all. That is their own way of life. So you cannot compare their own and their own. Then let's look at the types of, let's look at some types of marriage. Then they have court marriage, as court wedding. They have a church, they have a tradition, and they have white. So most places practice court, even after they might have done their traditional wedding, whatever, they still go to court. Now, in some churches, it's mandatory for them to have a white wedding. Even in Africa, after they had even done their marriage right, they make it a compulsory. Not that is the lifestyle of that particular, environment, but it's particularly on that church. And let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Go more and see the churches. I will not mention the names of the church, but the churches who are making it mandatory for them, they know themselves. And let's also not forget that what the Bible says about marriage. See, marriage is according to the tradition of the people. So that's not what we should forget. Let's always, put it at the back of our mind before you go to that. So now, most of why we move to this length is because of pride. Maybe you have been attending your fellow you'll be attending their weddings, and maybe that's their white wedding, and you wish that when you get married that you must do your white wedding, even when your tradition does not permit that. Now, it happens in my community, one of my sister, she marries to another place, and my tradition is after you might have paid the necessary thing, we give out list. Then you come on another day, we give you list. If you're okay with that, then you reach out to us. If you're not okay with that, you can also, the choice is yours. But on your coming back, we believe that you are okay with that. So the young man took the list and went and came back. He said he's okay with the list. Said okay. Then they started entering into the marriage, discussion. Then after that, he has some things that he has not been able to, to fulfill. We said okay. We thought that maybe he didn't have money, but after some time, The ceremony ended that day, and he left. And he was still owing the family. A week to 2 to 3 weeks later, we heard that he's conducting a white wedding at the city. The family that supposed to be among while the marriage ceremony is taking place is not there. So when the news message came to us that they are doing white wedding at the city, he said, no. It's wrong. And you that is any of the pastors or the priest, reverend, whatever, if you are in charge of doing all this wedding, you need to ask the couple, have they finalized? Have people finished doing the necessary thing they're supposed to do in the family? These are the questions you're supposed to ask. So you can see that the thing is not balancing, because they are, taking pride of it because of maybe my friend does it and I must do it when I get married. So please, let's see how we can adjust all this. So let's take away pride. Let's take away pride. I know women, they are in fond of pushing their spouse to this kind of issue. So please, let's take away pride. Then we look at comparison. Begin to compare. When Harry does her own, this is how it's been done. Different things is been taking place. Then you begin to compare the type of cloth, you begin to compare the type of environment, the cloth and all that. So then you know that you've not gotten to that standard. Then also the Harry too, their own culture and your own, they might not be the same. Maybe in her place, just few persons can enter in their place, and Harry reside at the city, and Harry has a lot of friends. Now in this case, he can take few of your friends, go there and do the normal thing you're supposed to do. Then you now come back to the city, then organize a party. You can, any name you want to call it, but at least let me just be once. Then you can start from there. So why Harry is doing that? He never knew the condition of her people. Then you now begin to come back, then you now begin to compare, because your own might be a situation where you've gotten there, you dance and you do all the necessity, and you still go ahead. So let's not begin to compare your own marriage and other people's marriage, your own wedding and other people's wedding, your own tradition and other people's tradition. Other people, your all tradition are not the same. So please, let's stop to compare. Then let's also look at this issue of pushing. Maybe it's the wife that pushed the husband, maybe it's the husband that pushed the wife, that we must do this. Because I know in the case of my family, is the husband that pushed the wife, and mostly we always thought that maybe it's the wife that pushed the husband. But in case of my family, is the husband who pushed the wife, and the husband that day has a lot of money where he can finish all the process that he's supposed to do, but he took back the money and went to go and conduct wedding. So in that process, it's not good. So who really lure each other? The wife, the husband. So please, if you're in that kind of place, if you're in that kind of life, please, let's just begin to adjust ourselves. Let's begin to adjust ourselves and make this our coming generation, our coming people to be able to do the right thing at the right time. Then the place you want to marry, first and foremost, discover what is their pattern of giving out a woman. What is their pattern? You first discover, you first go take 1 or 2 persons from your family, go know their conditions. Then if it's okay by you, then you can forge ahead. If it's not okay by you, then you can leave. So it's very, very important that you should know. All right, when you begin to compare other people's uh, uh, wedding, other people's occasion, then you also look at your own side. Look at your financial stand. Then, if it's the same income you are earning with other person you are trying to compare, because that person might, maybe after finishing the the marriage rights, maybe his place is very far and he reside at the city, and he decided after he might have finished paying the marriage right, come to the city to come and conduct anybody wish to conduct that wedding in his own, expenses, in his own expense. Then your own now, you also want to do the same thing. Then why can't you, after you might have also finished your own on your own, little way you feel like, then it ends there. Then your friend now hosted a very big occasion, can call it wedding, in a city. Maybe only the hall alone, what about 2 point something million? You look at what the expenses he will be, be making during the marriage. Then, and you are not to that standard. Your income is not up to like that. Then someone begin to push you. Your friends may advise you, why can't you do it this way? Your wife also can also push you to that. Why can't also do this way? That look as also person. So please, let's try to see how we can be able to, adjust ourselves. And first and foremost, you must know your aim of, fulfilling the marriage right. Your aims of fulfilling the marriage right, so that you can be called a full married, woman or a full married man. Not that you have something, else. The name alone is very, very okay as a responsible man, a responsible woman. So that's the reason why you have to fulfill that marriage right. So if you've not fulfilled that marriage right and you do the thing you wish to do, then that means you've not become a full married man, a full married woman, because you need to go and settle what you need to settle, so that you can have, a full blessing, and your family will grow. Because by the time the members of the family, something has getting to their hand as their culture demands, as their tradition demands, then all of them, they will bless you, they will be comfortable, they will be praying for you. Anytime you even fix to come and visit them, they will be happy to receive you. But if you comes in this case of you've not finished, then they are hearing that you are, conducting a wedding at the city because of what you emulate from your peers, then it turns into storm. All right, so let's look at Jacob's case. In Jacob's case, they are supposed to pay. Then he had no money. Then he now get to work in his wife's place for 7 years. So they've calculated the amount of his service for the 7 years, and after that, after the end of the 7 years, they're supposed to give him the wife. Though they gave him the wife, but it's a wrong one. The one he wished to marry is not that one that he was given again. So he now get to work again for the next 7 years. So meaning that he get to pay, but he has no money to pay. So he now get to work again for the next 7 years. Then after that, they gave him the one he desired. As he was working, they were also taking his salary, and his father-in-law were saving his salary. So by the end of the day, they calculated and he paid. That is their own pattern. Then they gave him the wife, and he become a full married man. That is their own way. So he must fulfill that which is supposed to be, who's supposed to be done. He must pay what he's supposed to pay. Now let's also look at Samson. Samson also moved. We are looking at that the place he wants to marry, their conditions, their area of life, how they live, any condition they give you, in as much as you cherish that woman you want to marry, you must definitely fulfill their rights. I told you earlier, in some places women are not that, so you must do all that. Now in Samson's case also, it's the same way. Then he now moved down to his wife's place. They stayed about 7 good years there. Then look at the case of Samson. He took his mother, his father, and his best man. They moved down to his wife's place. And when he got there, the in-law, his father-in-law, arranged, that is their own way. Their kinsmen, came and they stayed in a house. They lived with them. And as they are living with them, they are studying their life. They are doing the things they're supposed to do for 7 days. So they are doing their normal thing, processing, paying order, discussion, knowing each other. That is how their own ways of life. So after that, I think despite how we have a shortcoming in his way, he ended in thereabout. So that is his own. Now we also look at in Jesus. Remember, we are talking of the Samson in the Bible. We are also talking of Jacob in the Bible. Let no one not say that we are in a very, very difficult time. So we are talking of the people in the Bible. Now let's look at Jesus. Jesus was invited in a marriage ceremony. A marriage ceremony in Canaan. Why? Maybe let's look at the person that want to marry is one of their relation, and he sent for Jesus. Before Jesus got there, his mother, Jesus' mother was already there, and when they got there, we believe that everything finished that day. When they got there, their own way is drink. If drink finished on the process, it's going to be a very, very shameful thing in their way of maybe that is the way they do their marriage. So drink along the occasion, drink doesn't supposed to finish at the middle of the occasion. Then his mother of Jesus Christ now called Jesus' servant and told him that anything your master asks you to do, please do it. Do it. And Jesus Christ understood what has happened, and the people did not understand that drink has finished. Jesus Christ quickly moved and asked his disciples to fill the gallons. So they filled the gallons, and by the special grace of God, Jesus Christ turned the water into wine, and drinks continue. And nobody understand that drink has, drink has finished. So now along that side, they finished and everything was ended. Whether they dance or they not dance, we know that the marriage ceremony has ended. So to tell you that everybody has their own way of, you know, life, their own way of traditions, their own way of culture. So you must make sure that you fulfill, you know, the normal thing. You fulfill the right. You fulfill the rights to make sure that our family is growing rapidly. Our family will be a good one. Our family will not encounter any setback, because if you trace back some of the challenges you are having in your family is the cause of why we've not finished our, you know, our marriage rights. So after this video, try as much as possible, trace back, you know, trace back and know if you are still owing or not, and make sure that you might fulfill, you know, what you're supposed to do in your family. Then we are also looking at that we should not be repeating the ceremony. Don't repeat marriage ceremonies. You know, we are in a very difficult time of, you know, our economy all over the world is not, it's not good. So don't. The point, the the difference is clear on my point of view. Do the right thing, do the normal thing. If you prefer white wedding, do the needful and go ahead. But if you also prefer traditional wedding, also do the needful and go ahead. Don't short pay the normal process. Don't short pay the normal process which the bride family required from you. Then, like earlier say, a blessing always attached for it when you've done the normal thing you're supposed to do. And there are also causes attached when you've not fulfilled your marriage rights. Don't copy other, but do the needful. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. And don't repeat marriage ceremony. I repeat, don't repeat marriage ceremonies. It like you have done white wedding, don't do traditional wedding again. Choose one among the two. You are not competing with anybody. You are not competing with anybody. You don't know what the other person is passing through. The other person also don't know what you are so passing through. Don't allow your wife or your husband or your peers lure you to that. Please, if you have not did anyone, now plan how to do just one. This is the time you need to inquire. You need to seek advice. You need to go details. You need to know what the people really need. If it's a place where you can have leaks, you go. If it's a place where only the father gave out the child, you can also go and know all that. And before the father gave out the child, we're also looking at a situation where the father is not in a good time with the entire family. So in that case, he will always give out his child, and he will allow you to live with the child. And you, as who really need the growth of your life, your family, go and inquire. In some case, the father will be having a misunderstanding with the family members who will not like to take part in his daughter's marriage rights. So the father might decide to take everything and give you. So do all that. Go for the inquiry. Know how the family are in a good time with the father, and see what he can do about it. If you have done one and you are planning to do for the next one, please do not, sorry, God, right? If you've done one and planning to do the next, please don't further ahead. Just, manage the one you can. Live with the one you have already done, though the necessary, because you are not in competition with anybody. The thing has turned to something else in our society where we are looking as if we are competing with, with some persons, and it's not good. So please, if you've done one, you can, if you have enough money, why can't you invest on that money? Why can't you see who you can bless his or her life and grow with that? So please, let's try to see how we can adjust ourselves in making just one for that. I know some person might say that he doesn't have money, that's why he's saying all this. There are persons that might tell you like that, your friends. Please, my dear, it's not all about spending money. When you spend money on a thing that will yield fruit, a thing that will bring another, generate another money, I think it's a good one. I know some persons might also say, marriage is not investment. Yes, we know that marriage is investment, but there are things you would do, my dear, is not in line with the way that you're supposed to do. And all this, you have to make sure that as you are doing your planning, God first in your life. Then if you have done the two already, don't still be discouraged. Don't still be discouraged. Be comfortable. See how you can also educate more of your children. Because we are looking at a situation whereby we can balance all sides. We can balance all sides. If you are planning to marry now, you'll be looking at the expenses. And all this we are doing has made most of our youth not to go into that. And they will begin to live with people that they've not, their parents don't even know where about them, and they've been calling them their wives and their husbands. So please, let's do the needful so that we'll be respected in our society.
True. Action.
You must make sure that now checkmate yourself very well. The person you are living with, you might be looking at the cost, you might be looking at the expenses, but my dear, you can stand somewhere. And in our churches, in our environment, we have a lot of persons who have not, they don't even think of doing all this because they look at the cost. The way we are doing our marriage these days is turning to something else, and a lot of persons are afraid of doing that. And we are also looking at some marriages after they must spend all millions of thousands, and within some few weeks, within some few months, you see that the such marriage will be broken. We are not praying for that. We are here to make sure that we have a formidable family, we have a unique family, and your family also can be a small heaven where you'll be happy. So let's see how we can curtail our expenses in our marriage. And consultation, inquiring, and advice from the right person is also needed. You apply that. Never you inquire from the wrong persons. Always pray before you do anything you want to do. Always ask God first in your life. Anything you want to do, let God be first in your life. So my dear listeners, my dear viewers, I beg you, the areas, the little you can, adjust, the little you can do on the areas which I earlier said, pick the points that you can adjust in your life. If you are okay with some points, you can as well furthermore advise people on that, educate people on that. Not everybody know about it, and not also everybody will also going to watch this video. So if you are privileged to watch this video, don't be greedy, share the video and educate people more about it. If you are also looking at a situation whereby a dual citizen, like where you live, their way of doing things is not the way other people does their own thing, then we still have advice on those side. What we are trying to say in conclusion, that you must do the normal thing you're supposed to do. You must follow the due process. Don't steal somebody's child. Don't steal somebody's daughter. You must follow the due process. And don't also be afraid of going to them, because maybe the price they will give you is something else. Do not also look at what you will be spending. Start somewhere so that the person you are living with will have a name. You have a name in the society, you have a name in your church, you have a name in your working place, you'll be respected. Please, let's wake up. Let's wake up, and as the Bible has said it, my dear, we don't have to neglect that. Bible recognizes marriage, and that's why we are preaching more on this marriage. Bible recognizes more on that. So let's help ourselves. Anyone close to you that tries to do this, educate that person, advise that person, so that by the end of the day, you've taken one person to a sin. You know, when a woman and man are living together, when nothing has been done, you know how the Bible records it. So let's try to see how we can adjust ourselves, in as much as we are praying to God. All these blessings are for it. Some persons give testimony after their marriage, God opened doors. There are blessings like that, because of, by the time you are single, and things might not come to you direct, because God might also look at it this way, that you will not be able to handle it well. But the moment you get somebody close to you, somebody coming to your life, you can see that doors begin to open. Just like the Bible said, that a woman that found that a woman found a good thing. Marriage is good, and those of you also that are so wish for them not to marry, there are also, advice for you. If you are in that shoe, if you are in that category, please never you also throw away this video, as we are going alongside with this series of marriage and home and our social life behavior. You're going to learn a lot, and you are attached to your life. Please, please, please share this video, and let's educate ourselves. As we do all that, God will richly bless you. Thank you so much, and God bless you as we share this video. Please pick the good points, pick the points you can work on your life. Pick the good ones, and you will be blessed. God bless you, and bye.
Action.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, uh, let's look at parental influence. This has gotten to something else. It's turning to something else, and it has eaten us off. And yet it has become as a custom, where the parents decide for their daughter, where the parents decide for their son, whom they will spend the rest of their life. Remember, marriage is not a one-day journey. Marriage is like institution that has no ending till death took us part. So you don't have to interfere for the marriage. You don't have to choose whom they will spend the rest of their life. So that by the end of the day, they will not say, they will be blaming you. Because if you, being the parents, choose a spouse for your in-law, by the end of the day, when there will be series of mistakes, they will be calling upon you, and you'll be blamed. Let's also look at the laws for their both. The understanding will not be there, because it's like they will have to establish that love. We are not talking of friendship, though some friendship leads to marriage, but we are talking of real marriage. Leave your daughter, leave your son to marry whosoever he or she wishes. Maybe you might be receiving money from your in-law. He'll be deceiving you, giving you promises heaven and earth, and you sell your daughter to him. And tomorrow, your daughter will turn to a housemate instead of wife. So, and you can also see that you'll be visiting them constantly. By visiting them, you are interfering in their relationship, you are interfering in their marriage. Leave them. I'm not saying you should choose for them, but if they've also gotten marriage, if they've also looked for their whom they want to spend their life with, allow them. Not something happen, just small thing, they will call you, you rush down. Not everything you hear and you respond. Allow them so that they can have a comfort zone. The way you are treating your in-laws, is it the way you are being treated? Is it the way they are treating you during your own time? The way you choose and impose marriage to your children, is it the way they impose marriage to you? Even if they do, will you continue? Will you continue? So he has gotten to our knowledge that we have to stop all this. The thing is turning to something else. Like in the Bible where Adam made sin, the Bible where Adam sinned, and God asked Adam, and you know the case of Adam, God took one of his lips and told Adam that this is your wife. And from that day, Adam says, yes, she's beautiful. This is bone of my bone. This is flesh of my flesh. And they become husband and wife. But something happened. When did it happen? When God asked Adam, Adam, why did you do this? Where are you, Adam? Where are you? What Adam answered, it's not the wife you gave me, the person you gave me. So at that moment, Adam blamed God. At that moment, Adam blamed God. So God says that from that day, our God is a very, very wise God. He can choose and come and present. We are also looking at those pastors that they give prophecy. They prophesize to each of them that they are, look at the person, so person you marry, look at so person, God have shown me. I'm not doubting the Holy Ghost, but we have to be very, very careful. We are talking of families, we are talking of marriage where you spend the rest of your life. There where you take your decisions in your life, your lifestyle. So please don't choose for your children whom they will spend the rest of their life. Allow them. Allow them. Let them bring and show to you and neglect them. Give them unnecessary support, give them unnecessary advice. And you yourself, what you do, you will go and investigate. You know whereabout of who they are presenting to you. Then you will give them unnecessary support. That is your work. That is the best you can do. Then for you, always 247 you are in your in-laws place. 247 you are visiting your son-in-law and your daughters-in-law. 247 you are there. 247 you are there. Let's limit our visitation to them. Allow them, let them flow. Let them have enough time. Let them have enough time. Allow them. If they request for your help, you give it to them. But for you to always arrange yourself, maybe you come from this weekend, the next weekend, there will be, all right. So peradventure, they got married, and as in-law, you have to calculate yourself, not constantly visiting. You know when you're supposed to visit them, occasionally, not anytime you feel like going. And most of you, are not able to take proper care of their husband before you go in those visitations. So we have to look all this. It has gotten to a time where we'll be adjusting ourselves. The area you felt you are doing it right, but you are not doing it right. So don't always feel that you know it all. Don't always know it all. Please don't interfere much on their marriage. Don't interfere much on their marriage. So give them time, give them space, give them gap. Not that you not oversee them, you not talk about them, but you are always also knowing their whereabouts, as in you've not forgotten them entirely. They are not deleted in your list. So once you do all this, you can see that the marriage will be a good one. The marriage will be a good one, because the moment the girl, because some parents are not good in visiting, but once they come to your house, They begin to claim Lord. They begin to cause confusion. They begin to show so many, character that you did not expect from your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. Mostly it's always the mother-in-law who visits. So in this case, we have to be very, very careful. And as you are going, peradventure you went occasionally, don't stay too long in your son-in-law's house. Don't stay too long. 1 2 days, 1 or 2 days. Then also sometimes you say you are going for mobile. You abandon your husband in the house and say you are going for mobile. And now is also a time that we should amend those areas. If you are going for mobile, if your daughter gave birth and you are going for your first visit, you should not stay more than 1 week. Yes, don't stay more than 1 week. Before your daughter bear child, as she is getting pregnant, before the time of her delivery, she must be able to know that this is how they will treat baby. She will begin to inquire, because we will begin to discover that after that visit, after your daughter might have been given birth and you went for mobile, after the process, your coming back is not in a good mood. We have cases like that. So in order for you to avoid all this, so that you can be able to maintain a good face with your son-in-law and your daughter-in-law, highest 1 week you go. As you are going that 1 week, your work is to teach your daughter what to do, because you will not be there forever. Teach her what to do. In the morning, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do, this is your first child. So begin to educate her on that. Then you too, the one, you have to learn very fast. You have to learn very fast, because the moment your mother stays with you, and your husband goes out, he begin to ask you some question. He begin to discuss some kind of discussion that will not be favorable to the family. And her husband in the house will be inquiring of her. At that moment, maybe at that 1 week, 2 weeks, you have denied your husband so many things. You have denied him so many things. You have denied him so many things. So please, you don't have to. And sometimes too, it's not approved by the husband as you are going. Sometimes it's not approved. So when it's not approved and you be able to convince your husband that you are going for omobo, then you make it snappy. You just go teach her, since you are first child, teach her, tell her what to do, then after that comes back. So we are growing, and we are coming to that to educate you about these cases, so that we can have a formidable family, where our family can be a small heaven. Nobody telling you, like as earlier said, that marriage is not a school. Doesn't have its institution of its own. So it ends anytime and it's continued anytime. So once you begin to inquire advice and knowledge, and you begin to be confused, you see that your family will have issues. So when you do your inquiry, you just pick the points you can, because you are the owner of the house. your mother-in-law should not come and begins to, you know, take as if he's the owner of the house, because we have seen some cases when as soon as the mother-in-law appears, things begin to change you. Maybe is your husband's mother that comes, so and she will begin to act. The money your husband will be bringing for feeding, as your husband goes out, there will be challenges by this. She'll be the one, in fact, she'll be in charge. So we're also looking at if you can also have somebody that you can, in other words, has help or has mate. So you can have them so that they can also be in charge of that. And you that is so bearing the child, also by God's grace, pray so that they can also be strong. And you will not give space for other talks that will come in to spoil your marriage. So you that is visiting, be careful, know your limits, and retire back to your house. Then you that they are visiting, also be careful, know the time, the good time you have with your husband, the good time you have with your wife. Because the moment you people have visitors coming from the both parties, you see that the family will be divided. You've also seen some cases where as soon as the in-laws visit, you can see that as soon as they visit and they leave, the family, the marriage, problem comes in to the marriage. So these are the things we are learning. These are the things we will teach you. These are the things you should be able to know as human beings. It's better, as you've heard it, to avoid all these little mistakes. Those things you call little mistake can spoil your marriage. So let's be very, very careful. Know the kind of family you come from. As soon as your mother comes in, the family changes. So know them. Know when you allow your wife, when you allow your in-law to visit you. Know when and how and why. They should not just wake up one day and before you know it, they're on your gate knocking. And maybe you've given instructions that nobody should come to you've instructed your gate man, nobody should come to the house. And before they come, if you are expecting a visitor, they must call you. They have to call you. And whereas your mother-in-law did not have a phone, so before you know it, they've landed in your gate and they'll be quarreling with your security guard. So in that case, it becomes challenging, and you are not expecting that kind of visit. At least before they come, they have to come, because we are in a modern world. They have to call.
Action.
All right. So please, let's try to amend our ways. Let's be careful, and let's control our family, and let nobody spoil our marriage. Then let's also look at marriage because of children. Some persons marry because of, say, they want to bear children, because their family is sharing land, and because they've gotten so many investments, and they needed to have a child. and the love is not there. Because at that moment, you just needed anything that comes your way. Maybe at that also time, you've already gotten married, and that one has not given you any child. So, you know that you are getting this married because you want to have children. That shouldn't be your priority of getting married. You know that children comes from God. Yes, children comes from God. So our priority of coming together as husband and wife shouldn't be just because of children. Should be because God have said it, that a man and a wife will come together. When you have it just because of children, the love is not there. Oh. The love is not there. Anyhow you try, the love is not there. Because the moment you've achieved your aim, you can see that your attitude will change. You'll be having some limitation of how you are trying to make the family.
Action.
Your attitude will change. So your priority of getting married is for you to build yourself, to package yourself, not that you want to have children. Some places, because they are doing something else, and it's also people that will push you. Look at your mates. You've already gotten your first wife, and she have not given you any child, and they will pushing you. I remember before you go into that marriage, you have to consider all this circle. You have to consider all this circle. Now you can spend some years before you have a child. Some marriage self has not even lasted for 2 years. They begin to complain. They begin to call you. Look at your mate. Oh. Look at, what are you still waiting? Look, what are you still waiting? And our marriages will be having issues. Our marriage will be dividing. Our marriages will be breaking because of child. Now, if you furthermore go to the society, enters anywhere to force yourself to have a child, you go to extra miles to have a child. Most of the challenges we're having in our society today is because of how the system of how the child comes to existence. So let's not push more on that. Leave it. God has the finance in your life. Your creator, the one who made you, have the finance in your life. When you take a wife, then also know that God, everything about my life, everything about her is in your hand. Take charge over this marriage, and God will take control, and God will take charge. And also know that there will be challenges. There will be challenges. There will be challenges. Maybe your area can be, you have money, you haven't gotten child. Yes, in some case, I like that. So know the challenges your own comes with. Because as we are coming into this earth, my dear, everybody comes with his or her own challenge. So your own might be different. Your own might also be the ones of that childbearing. Your own might be the one of that childbearing. You see some persons, they have so many children. They have 9, they have 10, they have 15, they have 20, but there is no money. You can also see some people, they have 1, but they have a lot of money. You can also see some persons, they have money, but they don't have a single one. You can also see some persons, they have male throughout, they don't have female. You can also see some persons, they have female throughout, but they don't have male. So all these are, something to make the society to balance. Never say that your own is the worst. The one that comes to your table, take it that way, take it like that. Remember, it's not you who gave it the child. It's God who gave it the child. So any condition you find yourself, be it not the condition that you tie yourself, but you know that this is how the situation is. So you have to balance yourself with it. Too much advice from corner who will be pushing you to do stupid things might always come. And the best one comes slowly, and there are not many. So don't marry because of child. If you've gotten your first wife and she's not able, or she cannot bear, and she have not bear a child, bear with it. Live on with it. If you watch around, you have other people around you who you can render help to as your child. You've also gotten some persons who died without no children, and during the funeral, it's as if the person has so many children. So these are the mistakes we are making in life, and we are taking it as part of our custom, and the thing is eating us deeply. So please, don't marry because of children. Don't marry because of children. The ones God have given you, take it that way. Maybe your wife is not able to bear a male child, and you go ahead and say you want to have another wife so that I can bear male child for you, so that some of your investments can be controlled by them. That is not the best idea. You have people around you. Even if your mother gave birth to only you, you have people around you. You have your church members, you have your colleagues, you have your family members too, who you can share your way to. So please, let's try to correct ourselves in all these areas. Childbearing is of God, and it's not of man effort. You will try as a human being to do, but the result you get will be negative. And the devil is working day and night to make sure that he has a photocopy of God. So remember that devil is trying day and night. You have a photocopy of God. Anything God does, devil always see how he can have a photocopy of it. So you might think that yes, they are doing it, they are bearing it. You go to some places and they prophesy to you, they lay hand on your stomach and you be a child. By the end of the day, what the child will become tomorrow, how the future of the child will be, you don't know. So please, we'll be going more deeply on this as you follow on this program, as you follow on this foundation. We'll be opening your eyes and know the things that is going on, and also know furthermore of this childbearing, if all child comes from God. When we continue to follow, we'll get to this. If all children, if all child come from God, then you know all that. So let's be careful. Don't marry because of a child. Don't marry because of children. Live with the one God gave you. This has caused so many people to marry more than two wives, more than one wife, because of childbearing. If you are able to marry one, stick on that. Don't go further because of childbearing. Please and please and please, so that our family will be unique and our family will be good one. Thank you, and God bless you as you see the next topic.